So fascinating acronym, and I've seen you talk about this. In fact, that's how we first met. Was we got introduced through a small group, and you were always mentioning this fabulous acronym, and I can't remember it. So it's called FASCO, right? FASCO. So FASCO. Why don't you talk to us about how did you come up with that? And then I'll ask you some other questions about, each component of that, as it were.
Yeah, so FASCO, the acronym stands for Failures, Adversities, Setbacks, Challenges, and Obstacles. And I think it was several years ago, I was given a series of keynotes. And Bruce, as I went back and reviewed the keynotes, I would use these words individually throughout the presentation. And one day I was like, they kind of mean the same in a way. I said, let's just come up with an acronym. That's how I came up with it. And it just resonated with me because I just think through my life, my journey, I've dealt with all different versions of FASCO. So I thought, here's something I can really relate to, because I know many people deal with these different words at different times in their life. And I thought if I can share solutions for those. And
yeah, so the acronym is real cool. And you said about solutions, which, you and I are more alike than we are disalike. We're trying to come up with solutions. And that's kind of what my simpler, faster, better methodology is all about is, solve a problem, come up with a workable solution. So have you found that any of the, how does the dynamic of FASCO change depending on the environment you're in? Because I'm sure it's pretty environmental, right?
Yeah, it really is, because it can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be external, it can be internal. So first I kind of say, it represents anything that's when something unexpected happens, something you're not prepared for, something blocking you from achieving a goal. It can be a difficulty, a struggle. But ultimately, I think that they all are basically they're testing you to see how bad you really want a goal. How bad you want it. And it's going to come in those different fashions of, like I said, failures, adversities, setbacks, challenges, and obstacles. They're the same, but they're actually kind of different, and when you really kind of analyze them, they're a little different, and it's just understanding the differences and then understanding how to conquer them ultimately.
Right. Yeah. So words are an amazing thing, right? It's all about interpretation. So, and I like the fact that you said, well, how bad is it going to be? But as solutions people, we got to kind of look upward and say, well, how good can we make the solution, right, to minimize every aspect of, the failure, the adversity, setbacks, challenges, and obstacles? That's the FASCO. So maybe there should be a letter U in front, like you FASCO, right? And I FASCO in different ways, right?
Yep, exactly. I mean, it's, like I said, it's how do you conquer the FASCO moments in your life. And it's really about encouraging people to develop the habit of conquering them, so it's a process, but I think we all deal with them differently. And that's kind of how I've tried to use my journey, my story, my lessons, my wins, my losses, and sharing with people, well, here's how I dealt with it. Perhaps maybe this is a solution that might work for you.
Right. So amongst the 5 letters, do you find that people use them kind of equally, 20% apiece, or do you find that some of the words and as a result, some of the solutions that you need to help people with, do they tend to land more on one of the features of your acronym?
Yeah, good question. It's kind of a variety. It's like sometimes people will try to lump them all, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty, failures can really be different than adversities or really different than setbacks. So it's just trying to help them understand, like, let's take the word failures, really a lack of success. So I try to spin it in a way, okay, let's identify what failures are, because usually when failures occur, it means there's something that you probably didn't do right, or there's something you could have done to change the outcome, where versus maybe an obstacle,
Right.
sometimes there's obstacles that pop up that, that you didn't cause the obstacle, but you got to figure out how to get around it, so it's just trying to help them differentiate between the different parts and show the different solutions.
Right. Well, it's really interesting. I posted some commentary and contents recently about at least the word failure, and the outcome or the solution that I came up with was, if you're going to fail, then fail forward and fail fast. So that's, like you said, more of a task-based thing. But for me, at least from my own personal adversity is more an external thing. So, and for me, it tends to be more long-winded or it prevails over a longer period of time. I think you can fail and you can pick yourself up pretty quickly, but sometimes adversity is more like the long winding road, right? So
yeah.